Deception Pass. So I had a couple of tins of this. I took one with me to Oslo, Norway, and give it away. So I have not opened this. And you know, have I tried this? Tin opening. Isn't it one of the great pleasures of life is a tin opening? Like a cat with catnip. Recycle. Deception Pass. On the North Puget Sound, tidal waters flow dangerous and quick under a high trestle bridge. Master blender Joe Langford retreats here to reflect. Joe's Northwest-style Virginia Perique gives the pipe smoker a sense of how we savor our marvelous region. I'm going to talk about that. Enjoy English-style Virginias, Acadian Perique, Black Virginia, Black Cavendish, and a touch of rare Turkish Orientals. Crafting the most sought-after small batch blends in America since 2007. I gotta say, I love the graphics on these tins. They have really captured something. So it's a nice ribbon flake, blacks and light tans and dark browns. So I think I'm smelling Perique in there. It smells kind of peppery to me. And a darker caramelly note. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that is like Cavendish, which is a treatment, not a tobacco, so it's probably usually burley. So this is an old custom built, not that old. It's Wally Frank era, so 60s, probably early mid 60s. A little thinner bowl than I normally like, but I kind of like that thick shanked billiard look. So it's a fairly large bowl. I'd call that what, a Dunhill 4 maybe. I'm in the potting shed, by the way, so this translucent roof, which gives a real nice light, makes for a lot of rain noise. So hopefully it's not overwhelming. Welcome to the rain coast. So you only have to fill it half full, you know. Oh, I have a suitcase. I have to fill it completely full to go on this trip. No, you don't. And honestly, I don't have that much time to smoke a long bowl. So I'm going to do a half bowl. We'll see how this is. I'm not a big vapor Virginia Perique guy normally. Not a big appreciator, I guess. Matches from Liberty Tobacco, San Diego and Del Mar. Throw it in a pot that I'm not using. I should plant that pot, actually, now that I've noticed. This is such a mess, I gotta get in here and clean up. Hey. Charring light. Sometimes, especially up here with all this humidity, I like to let a tin kind of sit out a little bit open for a few hours before I smoke anything. Let the sulfur burn off. Actually, I had a real nice conversation with Rob Cooper the other night. Cooper's art. You ever buy a estate pipe? He has real quality estate pipes, real nice ones. Cleans them up real nice. And they're quality pipes to begin with. He didn't sell junk. But he's kind of a late night sort of guy, and I am too. Although not as much as he is. He's over on the East Coast, and it's like, wow, that's 3 hours difference. But he made some good points. He's going to be at the Chicagoland Pipe Show. So if anybody's going to be there, I think he's going to speak Saturday night. So that would be fun to hear him speak. He was saying he normally goes through maybe 4 or 5 pipe cleaners in a smoke, because he just does not like any dawdle or spittle in the airway. He likes a nice dry smoke, and I have to say I do too. And you know, Doug Owen once said, yeah, guys will treat pipe cleaners like $20 bills. That was such a great clip. Another thing Rob does is and I do this too, he takes a pipe cleaner at the end after he's swabbed out the pipe, probably with a couple pipe cleaners, and takes a little alcohol. This is a used bottle. I have some Costco scotch in here, labeled pipes. But it's a nice handy little container instead of the big mega Costco size container. And you just dip in the pipe cleaner, just an inch, half an inch, and then run it through the airway. Yeah, this could be maybe a little drier. Although it's pretty nice already. I'm just talking too much. Taste of scotch. And actually, I should have used the other end. And it's not real wet anyway, but there's always a little bit in there. So do not be shy with cheap with your pipe cleaners. And then he'll put the pipe white after he treats it with a little alcohol. It's rare that I smoke a pipe more than once in a blue moon. That's why I have a pipe collection, so I can smoke different pipes. But I understand the intention there of keeping to a strict rotation. Or he said he tried having just one pipe for the whole year. And while I admire that sort of Yankee minimalism, that sort of Quaker sensibility, a lot of the fun I get is collecting pipes and just enjoying my pipes, So the single pipe thing is not attractive to me, but to each their own. Anyway, it was really fun talking with him, and he made some great points. So I'm a morning newspaper guy. I just love that. Sit with what used to be a cup of coffee. Damn it. Now it's like Puro, or I'm going to try some of that almost coffee stuff, but whatever. And I'll probably go back to decaf, maybe a cup of decaf in the morning. And I did that today, and it's not very satisfying. But a hot cup of something, and just sitting there in your underwear reading the paper. It's awesome. It is awesome. And, you know, a more local paper, TV news is just so soundbitey. Even good TV news, you know, like, I don't know, BBC News or, they just tend to have a much broader scope, which sometimes is what you want, is national and international news. But I like to get the local scene. So I read my morning paper. And the other morning, in the opinion page, somebody wrote in, recently my wife and I had a friend and business associate from Southern California come for a visit. He came on both business and pleasure, and this was his first time to Kitsap County. We had been telling him for some time how beautiful this area is. We went to Gig Harbor for breakfast and then took a Sunday drive to Port Townsend. He was very impressed by the beauty and the scenery. Yes, we told him, we love it. No more spectacular place on the planet in our view. On our drive, we began noticing trash, garbage, and litter starting around Gig Harbor and continuing to grow all the way to Paulsville. It was not just an occasional spot here and there. It was a regular, ongoing 40 or 50 miles of trash. All kinds and all types. There were occasional stretches with no trash, but not many. Our friend was shocked. He commented that this looked like the highways of Mexico. Perhaps even worse. I had to agree with him, and I must say I was a little surprised and embarrassed. So I shared this story with my fellow editorial board members for the Kitsap paper. I was further surprised that no one else really agreed with that it was bad. The comments ranged, but for the most part, the perception was that the other members did not really see any problem. No big deal would seem to characterize the initial reaction from my colleagues. I thought and reflected a little on this matter. Blah, blah, blah. But I totally agree. So he doesn't draw any really big conclusions here. State legislators, county commissioners, port commissioners, Department of Transportation representatives, economic development executives, business owners, regular citizens, they drive these highways. They must see this. And yet all seem to embrace the notion that it is just not that bad. I agree. Or the driver's driving, but the passenger and everybody else is on their device, Facebooking or whatever the hell they're doing. So, not looking out the window at the scenery. Maybe because it's so littered. It's so trashed. I will say in Sweden and Norway and Finland this winter, you know, there was not nearly, it's not like snow covered everything, but there just wasn't a lot of litter, you know, there just isn't. So what I do, another hat I wear, is I coordinate a litter cleanup day in our little town here every year. And that's coming up this Saturday. Because we try and make it around Earth Day. Should talk less and smoke more. But, and that's always successful. We get, from our little town of 2,500 people, we get 60 to 100 bags of litter that people pick up. Not all of them full, you know, because you're carrying a litter bag. And this is men, women, and children, and, you know, we get about 45, 50 volunteers out of 2,500. It's acceptable. Gets the job done. The local tribal school also has taken it upon themselves, the youth center, to do some litter cleanup days along local roads. And that is awesome. And that is where the change needs to happen. You know, you can legislate it. You can have anti-littering $100 if you're going to litter, if you get caught littering. I'm sure those ordinances exist, actually. But that's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that people, unbelievably, are just like throwing stuff out their window, out of their car as they drive along. I mean, can you imagine? I can't. I have a story. Back when I was just a little kid, one of my really early memories, actually. So I was probably 5 or 6, maybe 4 or 5. Well, yeah, maybe 4 or 5. Living in Denver, and McDonald's, the hamburger chain, had just expanded to Denver. And so there was a McDonald's in Denver. And it was like a big deal, It was like this new way of doing business. Because before it was you'd go to a restaurant, you'd sit down, and you would have to have a meal, or sit at the counter or whatever. But it was a little more efficient. But still, it was not this drive-through thing. So a friend of my dad's, my 2 other brothers, I think that was it. We all piled in the car, these old big American cars from the early 60s. No seat belts. Pretty amazing to think about. Oh my gosh. So we're all loose in the back seat, romping around. 2 dads are in the front seat. And we go to McDonald's. And we, order some hamburgers and french fries and stuff, whatever you get at McDonald's. And it all came in like a big white paper bag, as I remember. So we're driving, driving along, eating, and, having a great time, marveling at this new food distribution system, without calling it that. And so we're all done. And so it all comes in paper wrappers and stuff. None of this foam stuff. This was the early 60s. And my dad's friend says, yeah, just put it all back, all the wrappers and stuff back in the paper bag. So we did. Took the paper bag, and he threw it out the window. Oh my God. And all of us kids just went ballistic. It was like, no, stop, go back, we have to. And he got really angry with us. We were questioning his authority, Kids, where do you guys come from? Quit telling me what to do, So, we had been indoctrinated by Lady Bird Johnson and her anti-littering thing. So it must have been like 1964. So, Johnson took over from Kennedy when he was assassinated. And actually, Lady Bird Johnson might have started her anti-littering campaign before that. I'll have to, if I find the time, look it up, which I probably won't. I'd imagine. So us kids had been indoctrinated to not litter. And, the America the Beautiful campaign. Remember the Indian chief, the Native American guy with the tear in his eyes coming down? Powerful advertising. And that affected a whole generation. And then along came, into the 60s, environmentalism, and oh my gosh, huge changes. So I'm thinking, it has to happen at an earlier age. I'm disappointed at the least that people my age are littering. It's horrifying to see people younger than me littering actively. Oh my gosh. And yeah, you can legislate against it, but that only catches it after the fact, and only catches probably 1,000th of the people littering, if that. So that's not really an effective solution. So it has to be part of your psyche to not litter. And I'm seeing that with the tribal school kids. I mean, that is awesome. So but I think it is pretty much everywhere. I mean, there are places that are much more litter-free. And the psychology of it, when I went to India, I was prepared, but I was still amazed at the sheer volume of litter. I was thinking there would be some value, either for heat, from paper products and cardboard, or recycle value for metals and some plastics, that it would be scrounged, but it really was not. So, yeah, it's a huge problem around the world. But I think we all have to do our little part. So I'm doing my part this Saturday. Maybe I'll smoke a pipe and do a video during it. But it's gotten to be kind of a little institution to do that every Earth Day. So it's good. We work with the county. They provide the bags, which are these orange bags that we can take to the landfill for free. They keep a close accounting on those. They provide the picker-upper things and the fluorescent high-vis vests, which we all return when we're done. But yeah, it's great. It works really well. So the means are out there. Often in a county, there's a person who's in charge in the solid waste division of public works. That's how it is for us. That is kind of in charge of that. And so he works with community groups and has this stock of stuff that then we reserve for that day. We go up to the landfill, pick it up, and then bring it back when we bring our bags up and have them counted and then dispose of them for free. So it's actually a great thing. So, is this tobacco a great thing? It's a vapor. It's getting to be more of a vapor the deeper I go into it. Meaning that barik, that kind of sour, peppery note, is becoming more prominent. See, there's a sign up on the road, no unmuffled Jake brakes. And I think those guys go out of their way to show off their unmuffled Jake brakes. So, having an ordinance against something is a start. I mean, you got to have that if you're going to ever enforce anything, but it is not an end-all. Attitudes have to change. And my attitude really has not changed about this tobacco. Just not my thing, It's grand if it's yours. Wonderful. I just like the smoothness, the creaminess, the caramelliness of a good Balkan mixture. That preek just gets in the way for me. It's a taste I don't really like. Good to revisit tobaccos once in a while, though. See if your taste has changed.